I'm going to show you the key metrics to look for when identifying the best altcoins to trade in 2025. And of course, at the end of this video, I'll also share my personal trading watch list for the altcoins that are just my bread and butter altcoins to trade this year. So let's say you want to get started with crypto trading. You've heard about altcoins, trading strategies, and the idea of buying the dip.
Continuité d'hommes.
But here's the thing, blindly holding altcoins isn't always a smart thing. Right now, the market looks brutal. Volume has dropped by 94%, and many altcoins are near all-time lows. Everyone, and even political figures, are screaming buy the dip. I'm not here to create FOMO. I'm here to stay calm, level up your trading, and take advantage of real trading opportunities. I'll break down exactly how I identify the best altcoins to trade by looking at volume, price history, and correlation to Bitcoin. I'll also show you how to safely position yourself for big gains with minimizing your downside potential. Now, the first and uttermost important metric to look at is trading volume. But why is that? It is very simple. High volume and high liquidity equals easier trading environment. When a market has a lot of liquidity, it means you can easily enter and exit trades without causing a price reaction. On the other hand, if a market has low volume, trading becomes much more difficult. You could even experience slippage. That means your trade entry is not where you pre-planned to enter your trade, and the same goes for exiting your trade. And that can end up costing you a lot of money. To find the altcoins with the highest trading volume, I like to use the Bybit market overview page. Here I can filter by 24-hour volume, displaying the altcoins with the largest volume over the last 24 hours. So here we have to filter via derivatives or spot. And if we click on trading volume, we can see that BTC, for example, has the highest volume. So this is $6.7 billion in the last 24 hours. The second largest crypto out there on the Bybit page is Ethereum with $1.7 billion in the last 24 hours. Place number 3 is currently Solana with $1.16 billion. Now at the same time, I can check this spot volume. Here we can see BTC still holding place number 1 with 628 million. Solana is actually place 2, no longer Ethereum, and it has 124 million volume. But why is it important to compare spot and derivatives volume? So why do I look at both? And that is simply because if a coin has rising volume in the futures contract, that means there is volatility to be expected. And that can once again offer some great trading opportunities. So this is always something we should be aware of and keep an eye on. The next factor, which is equally as important as trading volume, is the price history. So let's have a look at Solana for this. I want to take you over to TradingView once again, and here we can look at Solana on the weekly time frame. And we can see on Solana we even get price history from 2021. So I would say for an altcoin, that is a fairly good metric to look at. So if we have about 2 and upwards years of price history, that is typically what I like to see when it comes to price history. The more historical price data we have on an altcoin, the better we can analyze price retracements. Its current price location relative to previous price locations, and most importantly, its upside potential. And let's take Solana as an example for this. So here we can see that Solana dropped 96%, but towards the end of 2023, we had a major recovery, a beautiful bounce on Solana. So one of the very important metrics I like to look at, which is then translating into my context building, which you probably know from my previous altcoin video where I shared my altcoin strategy, that context is one of the most important things to look at when it comes to altcoin trading. But if you missed that, definitely check it out. Here I can see that Solana managed to do form a new all-time high after forming that bounce. And that is one of the most important context factors that I can look at. Because now I can see, yes, it looks fairly brutal. We have seen a 60% retracement on Solana, but overall, if we look at the very high time frame, this market has just done a new all-time high. So in terms of market structure, this is our high, that was the low, this is our higher high. So will this end in a higher low formation? It is too early to tell, but at least we have made a new all-time high, which is super important to know. And that's why we need this previous or this past historical data to be aware of that. And besides that, why is price history such a game changer when it comes to trading altcoins? It's also because we can use different technical analysis tools. So let me break down the tools that I like to use only when I have a lot of past price data. The first one is high time frame analysis. This is giving beautiful support and resistance levels. You all know about the monthly, weekly, and daily levels, and the more data we have, the more levels we can mark out. Besides that, we have high time frame Fibonacci retracement. So the more data we have, the better we can look at those massive high time frame Fibonacci retracements, such as the CC, which you all know from this channel. And we can also look at Fibonacci extensions. So that means we like to project Fibonacci targets into the future to identify price targets. If we don't have a lot of price history or a lot of data, we simply can't do that analysis properly. And of course, if you want to master these tools, we have full courses on our website where we teach you every single tool in depth. Next, I want to explain you why the Bitcoin correlation is such a critical part in altcoin trading as well. Bitcoin obviously is the dominant force in crypto. When it moves, altcoins react. But not all altcoins react in the same way, and we should be aware of how our most preferred altcoins to trade react to Bitcoin moving either to the upside or to the downside. We have some altcoins that follow BTC very closely. That means we have a strong correlation. We also have some altcoins that move independently. That means there's not the best confluence or not the best correlation with BTC. Others might even move in the opposite direction. So that means if Bitcoin is moving to the upside, some altcoins are in fact going to the downside. And this is called a negative correlation. Understanding this helps you manage risk and also find better trading opportunities. So let me give you one example. If BTC is rising to the upside, correlated altcoins such as Solana, Ethereum, or BNB tend to follow along. If BTC is dropping, correlated altcoins typically drop even harder than BTC. But if an altcoin has low or even negative correlation, that means this altcoin can be completely separate and do something entirely different to what BTC is doing. And in that instance, it doesn't even make too much sense to base a trade based off what BTC is doing. This is exactly why the good traders monitor correlations, so they are not caught off guard by the big moves. Now let's get into one indicator on TradingView on how to measure exactly this correlation. TradingView has a built-in indicator called correlation coefficient, and that is a game changer if you want to level up your trading and want to be aware of the best correlation. So let me show you how this exactly works. I want to use this correlation coefficient indicator on Solana. So let's just say, for example, I want to trade Solana, but I don't know yet if all the criteria is given. So I already checked on the market Bybit overview. I can see Solana is the third biggest or has the third biggest trading volume on Bybit. That is good. So we can check that. The next one is, okay, I have at least 4 years of data on Solana. Check, that is perfect. So what about the correlation? Here I'm checking the correlation coefficient in TradingView. And what I can see here is a scale from 1, 0 down to -1. Now, if we have a correlation 1, that means we have a very strong correlation to BTC, because here it is comparing Solana to BTC. If I have a correlation of 0, that means these assets move entirely independently. If we in fact have something that is at -1 or even below, or let's just say below 0, that means they move in opposite directions. That would mean BTC is going to the upside and this altcoin is going to the downside. But here on Solana, we can see that typically we are touching the 1 mark here, and that means we are having a very strong correlation to BTC. So if I do my analysis again, is Solana a good altcoin to trade in 2024? We have good trading volume, we have a lot of price history, and we have a good correlation with BTC, so I can tick all boxes and say I am going to trade Solana in 2025. And since some of you have already been waiting, I am now going to reveal my top 5 altcoin trading list for 2025. And I split this into 2 categories here, okay? So number 1 is my top 5, the altcoins that I trade almost every single day. And then I also have a couple of altcoins that I like to trade, but I am maybe trading it once or twice a week and only when there is a beautiful setup that I really like. So let's get into my top 5 altcoins for 2025. And the first one, as I said, is Ethereum. This is still the leading altcoin in the crypto space, as we already saw. It has the highest volume when it comes to altcoin trading. So this is ranked on place number 2, and this is still one of the most established and well-known altcoins in the space. The second one is Solana. I already gave you the analysis on why Solana is good. It also has an explosive ecosystem, and we can see it has the 3rd biggest trading volume. Solana has shown an incredible resilience even when BTC was dropping. Sometimes we had Solana moving to the upside, so it's definitely one of the best altcoins to trade in 2025. And I, for myself, am foreseeing great potential to be trading Solana this year. And then there is XRP. This is a very hype-driven altcoin, so sometimes we get those massive impulses on XRP. For myself though, I don't like to follow that too closely. The one thing I care about is that XRP respects technical analysis incredibly well, so that's why I add XRP to my list as well. Next on the list is AVAX. Not only does AVAX have strong institutional adoption, but it's also respecting technical analysis perfectly. So here we can see beautiful technical analysis, daily levels, high time frame levels, volume levels, everything is respected on AVAX, so it does not miss on my trading watch list on altcoins. Another one is BNB with a lot of price history and also a beautiful volatility to trade. BNB still remains one of the biggest altcoins in terms of trading volume on Bybit, so I can't miss this on my watch list. So, but what about the additional altcoins that I like to trade, which are just not the bread and butter type of altcoins? One of them definitely is Link, and if you followed along on this channel, we know that we had incredible trades on Link. We can see a major retracement on Link, but nevertheless TA is beautifully respected, and at least for 1 or 2 trades a week, that typically does not miss. And another one is Dogecoin. It is a meme coin, but we know this market sometimes is very meme coin driven, and Doge never misses with a great trading volatility. We've just seen a major pullback after we had this massive run to the upside. At the end of the day, as you know, when you watch my content, I don't care if an altcoin is retracing even 90%. For me as a trader, all that matters is that I have good volatility, so I can trade markets that move to the upside or to the downside. And Doge is a beautiful example of that. So this is one of the coins that I always keep on my watch list and trade once or twice a week. So this is now my core trading watch list in the altcoin space for 2025. This is the altcoins that I like to focus on for day trading or even scalp trading opportunities. But that obviously doesn't mean that if I find another altcoin that has great trading opportunities, that I'm not going to trade this. So this is my core altcoins. But besides that, I'm obviously looking left, right, and center to find the next best coin to trade. Alright, so we have covered quite a lot in this video, so let's quickly summarize the key points that we looked into during this video. First, trading volume matters. Always look for high liquidity altcoins to ensure that your positions are entered and exited at the right place. Besides that, price history gives you an edge. The more historical data we have, the better trading setups we can identify. This means we can find better retracements, better key levels, and make informed decisions. And last but not least, correlation to BTC is a game changer. I showed you the correlation coefficient indicators, so you are now able to identify for yourself if an altcoin is correlated to BTC, if it's moving independently, or if it's even negatively correlated to BTC. Now, the big question is, what should you do next? Step number 1 is make sure that your charts are set up for 2025. That means use the correlation coefficient indicator. Make sure you understand all your important trading view tools like Fibonacci retracements, extensions, volume analysis like I covered in my previous video. And step 2, build your own watch list. Do this analysis that I showed you for yourself. Identify the setups that you resonate with and the altcoins that you like to trade the most. And step number 3, stay ahead of the market. Crypto moves very fast, and the best traders are the ones who stay ahead and stay informed. Follow my content for more in-depth videos, strategies, and obviously in-depth analysis. If you found this video helpful, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and follow for more crypto trading strategies. Also, let me know in the comments which altcoins are you the most excited about to be trading in 2025. I'll see you in the next video. Trade smart, stay disciplined, and let's crush the charts in 2025.